Recently promoted to Corps Command, has reached the area of Heidlerstown north of us, and has turned his men and is marching west toward Cashtown Gap. That is where the orders were. Lee wants his army to concentrate on Cashtown Gap, and he prefers not to have a battle until the army is concentrated. Ewel is an 1842 graduate of West Point, born in the District of Columbia, and had grown up out in Prince William County. The Ewels, through several generations, had the bad habit of marrying first cousins. So the Ewels are a little strange in certain ways. Ewel was completely bald by the time of the Civil War, known as Old Bald Head. He was into eating health food before it became popular to everybody, and had served under Jackson, and had under Jackson. When you served under Jackson, you didn't think. Jackson gave you orders, and you did not, you carried them out. You didn't question what was happening. But now he's a Corps commander, and a Corps commander is going to have to understand that he's responsible for a large number of men, and there's no way that he can expect under Lee's style of command and order, you will do this, as it would be under Jackson. Ewel had been assigned to Corps Command and promoted on the 22nd. On the 23rd, he marries his first cousin. We're continuing it to another generation. He had courted her earlier in life, and she had turned her back on him. She had then been very fortunate to marry being wealthy in herself. She had married the wealthiest man in Tennessee, George Washington Camel, and had a family by him when she becomes a wealthy widow. Learning that Ewel had been wounded at the Battle of Bronner's Farm, and his leg had been amputated at the knee. It was not a good amputation, so they had to go back in and make several more shortenings. So on the day after he is promoted to Lieutenant General in Corps Command, he takes the widow to Singapore Camel as his lawful wedded wife. He always referred to her as "meet my wife." The widow Brown, his stepson, is going to be his chief of staff, and his daughters, when they're around, are going to expect all the perks of a regimental commander. So it's soon going to be in Jubal Anderson Early's mind that Ewel is commanded by a petticoated wife. But she isn't along, so we can't blame it this time. So I just wanted to let you know that Ewel is a strange fellow. So Ewel, as he's moving westward toward Arnstown, here's heavy firing to the south. So he decides to march to the sound of the gun. So Ewel will arrive in this area here where we're standing about noon. When he arrives here, he's going to see things about the same way we do. He can look southward and he can see the McPherson barn. He sees things are not going well for the Confederates. You can see that metal roof barn, and you can see Confederate artillery there, and you can see that there's definitely been a Confederate repulse. So, having marched to the sound of the guns, he's arrived with one of his 3 divisions. The division commanded by Robert Rhodes. Robert Rhodes is from Lynchburg, Virginia. He graduated from VMI in 1849. Had gone to work as a surveyor and an engineer in Alabama, and had entered Confederate service from the state of Alabama as colonel of the 5th Alabama. By this time, he is a division commander, and arguably maybe Lee's best division commander. Definitely a lot better than he, most of the time. That he's going to pick a time to not do very well on July 1st. There'll be talks that he and his officers had too much Pennsylvania Applejack on the 30th. They're suffering the pangs of a hangover. We know one thing, he is not going to be his usual self. Now, Douglas Southall Freeman, who wrote Lee's Lieutenants, admires his description in his encapsulated version of Rhodes. The Rhodes, tall, blonde, with steely blue eyes, is a veritable Norse war god. That would put him in the same condition as Thor, since Thor is the Norse war god. But it's going to be sad for the Confederates. It is not going to be a good day for Robert E. Lee. First off, he's going to clue the Yankees are going to know he's here. Because his chief of artillery, Colonel Carter, is going to put 8 guns in a position here. And the guns are going to open fire, firing down toward the south. And that means that even the dumbest Yankee is going to know there are Confederates up here. So we have